I was walking on this beautiful street in Porto, and I wanted to talk about, well, I had this idea, kind of. I was like, just reflecting, and I thought about something. I don't know why, but I've always been very intrigued by the idea of happiness, and just asking myself what that means, you know. I came to realize that happiness is very subjective, you know. Everybody has their own definition of what happiness means to them, you know. And happiness is not really something that would apply to everybody. What made me think about that is just two very different people that I met. One guy is kind of a roommate, and we were talking about like what kind of things they love to do, you know. And they told me, so that they're like a couple. There's this guy and his girlfriend, and we were talking about like what hobbies they like, what hobbies they have, and what they like to do during their free time and stuff like that. And they told me basically they love video games, you know. They work in this company, well, you know, Blizzard. They work for Blizzard, and so they were talking about like video games and stuff, which honestly I do like. I had like a huge part of my life where I was kind of into video games, and I played some video games, but the thing is there's a difference between liking something or doing, like, loving, or how can I say, like, for example, in my side, or in my like personally, I love video games, but I don't see myself playing video games non-stop all day. I don't think that's something I would go crazy, probably. Not that I don't like it, but this is not something that I see myself do like every day, you know. And for example, I know some games, especially like for example, if you know World of Warcraft, which I played when I was in high school. And this is like the kind of game where you just like, you start playing and then you have like this life in the game, and then you kind of like your life becomes the game, basically. And this is kind of a very weird thing. And so I did enjoy playing it when I was in high school, but what I quickly noticed is that I didn't want my life to become the game. And if I were to actually put or invest that much time into something, I would prefer to invest it in my own life, you know. And so while I love playing video games, I wouldn't invest that much time into a fictional world, you know. And especially also another thing, I just don't like how much video games kind of not video games, but this kind of game, especially like World of Warcraft, kind of like I don't have other reference, but this one in particular is just this kind of game that kind of like sucks you in, and you kind of like the game become your life, and so you don't have a life anymore. Like, this is kind of crazy. So yeah, so we were talking about that, and basically, so they have, which I'm not judging again, I'm just observing, but they have this lifestyle of like playing video games, and they just love it. Like this is their passion, so most of the time they just play video games all day, and they have this fictional life in the game, and they like I think they have like they invested like many hours in the game, and they kind of build this community kind of on the game. And so on this side there was this couple, and on the other side I met this other guy, which he's like a traveler, and he has his shop like with rings. Oh, by the way, I bought this ring from him. It's like this kind of ring, kind of like, maybe I don't know if you see. Yeah, this kind of ring, which I love this kind of ring. It's kind of a Celtic kind of thing, and I just love it. I don't know why. I just love it. And so yeah. So I met him. He was like selling his jewelry, and so we talked like a little while. I should have recorded it, but I was like, oh, that's kind of awkward. Like, you know, I just met the guy, and I'm like, can I record the conversation? So I didn't. But so basically, it was a very interesting conversation. But so what he told me is that he traveled the world, and I think he like, I don't know how many countries he saw, but like he traveled basically everywhere. He traveled the entire South America entirely. He traveled South America entirely, and so many other countries. He said he lived in Cambodia, and he's from Argentina, and basically he just traveled the world like that. Wait a second, because I don't think you can see me because of the sun. Yeah, just a second. So yeah, I was saying he traveled the world, and he sell his jewelry everywhere he goes, and I thought that was so cool. I don't know, this is just so cool that he was able to do that, and he seemed generally happy, and I think from the conversation I kept asking many questions, because I was very curious about like his lifestyle, and just like I'm just stopping because the view is amazing. Oh, look at this. This is beautiful. I don't know if the camera can capture what I'm actually seeing, because like this is just gorgeous. Portugal is beautiful, and yeah, I'm not staying that long actually. I just have like 2 days left, so I'm like, Anyway, and then I'm going to Morocco, which is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna try to film as well. I don't know, we'll see, I guess. No promises there. Anyway, so what I was saying, this guy, yeah, we talked a lot, and I was very interested by his lifestyle and stuff, so we talked a while. Like I asked him so many questions. One question that I asked him that was actually really interesting was which country do you actually prefer? And he didn't answer, and I think this is actually something that a lot of people that travel a lot kind of struggle to answer, because this is not an easy question, because when you travel, you can see that every country is very different. So it's really hard to actually choose. Yes, you might have some preference, or maybe based on your experiences, but choosing a country and saying, oh, this country is the best that I went to is really hard. And so that's actually what he answered. He said, oh, that's really hard, but I would say Bolivia. And he said Bolivia, so I don't know, I never been to Bolivia. I really want to though, but he said Bolivia. And then he told me, but actually I can't really choose, because, and this was really interesting. He told me sometimes, because I went many times, like some country I visited many times. What I experienced is that it's not that much about the country itself, but about the energy of the people that were there. And sometimes I would go to a place where the energy felt really draining and very low energy. And some other time he would go back to the same place, and the energy felt way more lifted and way more uplifted, and way more like a high vibration kind of thing, or high energy. And sometimes he would go back to the same place, and the energy would be way more light and way more high than the other time. And I thought that was very interesting, because I actually would say the same thing, that it's not that much about the country itself, but really about the people and and just the energy during the time that you go there. And I think that's also why some people would go to the same country and have very different experiences, because maybe the energy at this time wasn't very good, you know. What I wanted to see also is, or to point out, is that you can see from those two examples that actually the idea of happiness, because the couple I was talking to and this guy I met, both of them seemed really happy with their lifestyle and with everything they were doing, you know. And but they did definitely have very different life. On one side you have people that actually kind of have this very routine kind of lifestyle. They don't travel that much. They kind of stay at home every day. They have a very comfortable life, you could say, but they don't really travel that much, or they don't go outside of the country as much. And on the other side you have a guy who actually kind of enjoy the uncomfortability of life, and kind of travel everywhere and go to so many countries and meet people from everywhere. And I think it's an interesting comparison. And it's actually interesting. I remember I was talking about landscape and the beauty of some just some hikes I did, and they told me that they just they thought hiking is kind of pointless, which it's fine. But they said basically yeah, okay, but you see one landscape and then you see another landscape, and then what? But I think for me it's the whole thing, you see those things that's just remind you like how small we are and how just this world is just like so huge and it's just so beautiful. It's something that like I don't know, I think it's a lot of like humility also. It just reminds us how small we are and how the world is just this huge place, and yeah, it's very humbling. And maybe I think maybe it may be also why some people are not interested by it. Maybe maybe there are things that some people can't see, and it's fine, I guess. But yeah, anyway, I was very interested by like just making this comparison and seeing that actually the definition of happiness just depends of each person, and happiness for one person can be totally different from another person definition of happiness. And I think this is really interesting to see that how subjective happiness is actually is, and how very different those perspectives can be, you know. And for me, these two conversations definitely changed my mind on my vision of happiness, I guess, which I don't see as fixed, but more so something that is fluctuating, you know. We don't want to always be happy, like we don't want to always be sad, you know, because I think being happy all the time would get boring, which is a weird thing to say, but yeah, I do think so. Being bored of being happy. That's interesting. So now for my new definition of happiness, I think for me happiness now is just being surrounded by people that I love, friends, family, traveling. That's like one of my one of my priority, because like I just love traveling. I just love meeting new people. I love talking to new people. Not that I'm an extrovert. I actually found out that I am an introvert, which was very surprising, because when you see me like this, you wouldn't think that I am an introvert, which is kind of interesting. Which actually, introvert doesn't mean that you don't like to get social and to meet people. It's more so that you actually recharge or get your energy from being alone and doing things alone, you know. And so, okay, let's hello.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah, so that doesn't mean okay, what was I saying? That doesn't mean you don't like to get social and that you don't like to meet new people, you know. It's more so that you actually get your energy from doing things alone, and just get your energy by doing things alone, you know. Like, I don't know, maybe you like reading or writing or creating, or you know. And so yeah, I think, and that for me it's definitely it's definitely true. Even though I love people, I love going out, I love meeting new people, I love traveling, and just yeah. But on the other side, I still need my alone time, and I just love like spending time alone as well, you know. And I definitely feel more recharged when I spend this time alone. And I'm more able to like give to other people, you know. So my new definition of happiness is just being surrounded by the people that I love, traveling and just creating, and just creating, but also just being free. And I'm not talking about like physically free. I think we're all free in this time, you know, but it's more so free from external approval or validation, and being just totally detached from anything external, you know, like being free from criticism, being free from any judgment, being free from any kind of outside remarks or any kind of outside judgment, you know. And I think this is freedom. This is true freedom. I think when you just master this, you are really free. And this is what happiness is to me. My new definition of happiness, yeah. So yeah, that was just a quick video just to share my point of view, and my point of view on happiness, and just sharing some stories and things I just learned. And so yeah, I invite you also to just explore this idea of happiness. What is happiness for you? And yeah, I don't know, this is an interesting question, I think, even though I don't think happiness is really like a goal, because I definitely think that happiness is not something that is stable, it's kind of fluctuate. But I think it's an interesting question, like what makes you happy, at least? Do you know? Like what makes you happy? And yeah, so yeah, that was just a quick video. I hope you like it. I hope it brought you something, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.